Hello, beautiful people, tribe of many colors. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Remember, if you don't see me, right, what am I doing? I'm working on myself, and I hope you're doing the same thing. I hope you're taking care of yourself. Hope you're staying safe. I hope you're keeping your heart open, right? I hope you're learning to trust yourself, to feel love in everything that you do, right? To walk with confidence, speak with confidence, be confident. I know it's a struggle sometimes, but it's a struggle worth doing because sometimes when we take a path in life that's never been done before, or we weren't born into a family where we see a lot of people make huge strides and huge accomplishments, give yourself some grace if you're the first one doing it, right? If you're the first one doing something that you haven't seen in your own family, give yourself some grace if you end up stumbling or taking baby steps because you're charting a path that's never been charted before, right? So you got to be gentle with yourself, and you're learning and you're teaching. So what have I been working on? The past couple of days I've been working on myself, my confidence. I have doubts too, just a personal share. I can sit down and paint the most beautiful thing to me, right? Step back, look at it, and like, wow, the ancestors came through me and helped me to bring this forth. And then I have to sit in front of the canvas and do it again, and that doubt still creeps in. That doubtful voice that you've done the thing a million times, and you're good at it. You can do this, and yet that little voice, that little doubt, can still creep in. Like, nah, you can't do it. You can't do it. You don't know what you're doing. There's somebody out there better than you, that know more than you. Yes, that might be true, but no one has your take on it, your perspective on it. We're all unique energies, and even though someone has talked about this subject before, written a book about it before, sang a song about it before, whatever someone has already done, if it's still your interest and your passion, you need to do it. And the reason you need to do it is because no one has your energy and no one has your perspective. And the more of us that share what we love and what we're passionate about, the more you bring your perspective to the table, and that helps the entire whole by letting us know what we're looking at. It's kind of like that story, I can't remember the name of it, about the elephant, right? And all the I think it was like three guys that had their hand on a different part of the elephant, and this guy said, no, it's this, what I'm feeling is this, because he was feeling the trunk, and the other one was feeling the side, and he said, no, it's this. And the other one was feeling the tail, and he said, no, it's this. Now, I might not get that story 100% accurate because I don't remember it verbatim, but you get the gist. They all had their hand on the elephant, describing what they felt, and they all thought that their perspective was right. And yet, the bigger picture is, if they would have all shared their information, they probably would have come up with a more accurate depiction of what they were looking at. So if you keep the essence of that story in mind, you show up and you deliver your messages the way you see them, in the way that is comfortable for you. And it doesn't matter if it's been done and said 100 times before. No one has your take on it. And if a lot of people out there like me, I like listening to different versions of the same story because you always learn something new. No one tells the story the same every time. It's like cooking. You can give 3 people the same exact recipe, the same pots, the same stove, the same everything, and all 3 of those dishes will come out different. Why is that? Because no one has the energy you're about to put in that food. Your energy changes the way something is created, the way it's received, right? Your unique, beautiful personality, right, is only for you. And when you share that with the world, it's amazing. So I'm here to encourage you to do that. to share yourself, share your story, share your gifts, your expressions, your thoughts, your beautiful mind, things you've learned. Just be you. Shine bright, express, love, live, be big, bright, bold, beautiful, right? Just keep being yourself. And you know you're headed in the right direction when it's healing you, when it's keeping you happy, when you're bringing love to your home, joy to yourself, right? And peace to your world. So that's the introduction. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes. So I'm sitting here wondering, okay, what am I going to talk about? Keep in mind, I have a ton of videos I've already made. They're just sitting there because I have to, partly I need guidance on when to put a particular video out. So I kind of wait for the energy to say, okay, this is the time. And a lot of other times I'm working on myself, my own fears about how it'll be received. So I kind of sit on things longer than I have to and overthink, as can be sometimes with the mind of a Gemini or just people in general. Sometimes we just overthink for no reason. But so I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, man, what should I talk about? So many things, so many choices. And I pick up this book. I've read from this one before. Book of Virtues here for young people. I've read from this book before, one of my past videos about the fisherman and his wife. But there's a poem in here that I came across, and I was like, oh, I want to read that poem. It's nice. I like it. I like the feel of it. Like I said before, I don't agree with everything in the book because it's kind of old-timey, and some of the stuff to me is outdated. But when I read, I look for the energy of truth, right? I can read a whole book and literally just pick out 2 pages that were meant for me, but I needed to read the whole book. So sometimes when you go looking for information, it all doesn't have to apply and it all doesn't have to fit, and oftentimes none of it fits in the moment that you digest it and take it in. Sometimes you have to go back to the information 2-3 different times before you can get the message that's for you. And it's important to just connect with the energy of truth, because that's what's important, is that you're just tapping into what's true for you when you come across the energy. So as I'm contemplating doing this video about this poem, I just start getting the energy of the matriarch showing up. And how did I know it was the energy of the matriarch? My guides literally said, this is matriarchal energy showing up. So I just kind of started tuning in and listening, and I'm like, well, what is matriarchal energy? And I just started getting information after information after information, and I wrote a lot of it down. You know, it kind of almost came out like little tenets, or almost like a little poem, but I'll let you decide. So I wrote some stuff down about the matriarch. I'm gonna read to you. But before I do, I was encouraged to remind myself, and you listening if it applies, to remember that the energy of the matriarch is truth. And because of that, it is important to just feel into the truth of the information instead of who's delivering it to you. Always be loyal to the truth, not the messenger. Never the messenger. Only the truth. That way you don't get wrapped up in following a messenger who's no longer connected to the truth, because you have to always know the truth for yourself. A true messenger, a true healer, a true representative of the Great Mother is always going to encourage you to unwrap your own gift, because that's what it is. You have gifts sitting there waiting for you, and if I've discovered my gifts, those gifts aren't yours. They're not the same, right? Even if we might say, okay, let's say the gift of prophecy, right? And I'm like, look, I have the gift of prophecy, and this is how I did it. This is how I connected with it. You might also have the gift of prophecy, but it's going to look different. And the path to uncovering that gift is yours alone. I can encourage you to find what that is, but just know it's never going to look the same as someone else's. Your gift is yours alone, and it is a personal unveiling and a personal revealing with you and the Great Mother. And when I say Great Mother, I mean your cosmic mother, right? The energy that gave birth to everything. Okay? That's the cosmic mother. And even if you have issues with your earthly mother, okay, let me tap into this a little bit. If you have issues with your earthly mother, right? She is just a representative of the cosmic mother and the source and the vessel that brought you forth. And if your earthly mother is absent or unable to love you in the way that you needed to be loved and nurtured, you might be without her physical presence, but you're never without the energy of your cosmic mother, who brought you forth in the first place and placed you within the womb of your physical mother. So don't ever think you're alone. Don't ever think you're abandoned. Don't ever think you're unloved, because when you connect with your cosmic energy and the ancestors, right, which is the love of everyone that paved the way for you, you're never alone. So don't let the issue of or the relationship with your earthly mother dictate your entire existence, right? When you connect with your cosmic mother, you're going to realize you were always loved, you were always cared for, and you were always guided. So that's why it's so important to connect with cosmic family. That way you don't place all your value of self in earthly family, right? Because the energy is bigger than that. And before it came into the physical, it was energetic, it was spiritual, and that's always there. So try to always connect with cosmic energy, and you're gonna realize just how loved and how amazing and how supported your entire world is. Okay? All right, so let's get into what I wrote here. So this is what the energy of the matriarch came in and told me. Okay. It says the matriarch, she has love big enough to love beyond her own. She goes through trials in life to bring back wisdom. She charts a path for others by using her life as an example. Fierce in her need to protect, yet gentle enough to be a comfort for others. She will let her gray show, knowing that against the dark, her light is showing. I'm gonna read that one again, because some of y'all need to hear it. She will let her gray show. Let it show now. Don't be scared. Knowing that against the dark, her light is showing. She seeks counsel in her bad times, unafraid to go deeper within self. She strengthens her body because she has strengthened her mind. She brings love to her family and is easy to forgive. All right, and this last part, her heart, the only thing that ages in wisdom. And I said, how should I end that? How should I sign that off? Because I don't always put my name on things. That's just the way I do to stay humble. I don't always put K and Ndidi on things. Sometimes, it'll be, I'll say wisdom or the great mother. I'll tag it like that as who it came from. And I said, okay, so who should I say this came from? And they said, and the energy said, sip some tea and think about it. And I'm like, sip some tea and think about it. And they're like, it's okay. Someone getting this message will know what it means. So sip some tea and think about it. And that was the last part of that came in. So I love that I was able to be in a place to receive that connection. You know, sometimes I think that when I'm sitting in meditation, that's when I'm going to get the profound downloads and lots of information from my guides. And the reality is sometimes that's not how it works. I sit in meditation, I clear my mind, I go into a peaceful state, I embrace the feeling of joyfulness and lightness, and that's all the meditation is for. And then when I've kind of cleared that, did some weeding, right, in the garden of my mind, and cleared space, then the downloads will come in, and it'll be days after that, right, hours after my meditation. So sometimes if you sit in meditation and nothing's happening, just know something is always happening, because you're creating space for the downloads and the information to come in. And it comes in light codes, the speed of light. So when you get a download about something profound, sometimes it only lingers a little bit because there's so much distractions around, right? There's noise pollution, there's actual pollution, there's a lot of distractions. So when the light information comes in and you get a flash of that information, the reason it goes away so quickly sometimes is because we're not in the space where it can linger. Back in the day, people used to go into caves, right? So when they had their profound wisdom in the caves, they had time in the darkness, in the stillness, in the quiet, to embody it fully. When that same wisdom finds us in 2023 with electronics and Wi-Fi and the car outside and, you know, the kids crying and the TV on, you're not going to have as much time to absorb the high level information that comes in. So sometimes it's handy to keep a book around, a pen around, and jot it down as it comes in. Sometimes I just do a little shorthand version of the information I receive, and then later I can just unpack it all. So just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to also pull a card from the African Goddess Rising Guidebook. Since the energy of the Matriarch came in, I wanted to see what energy would come in through the cards to not necessarily validate the information, because it's already validated for me, but what energy can come in and lend to the information, right? Validation's in the heart space, and it's not external. So let's see what wants to come in. Let's choose this one. Let's see what that is. Hold on. Here we go. So we got 34, noonday, truth. Okay, I like this. I'm looking at the card, and what do you notice here? Do you see that she's looking at her reflection? But do you see that the reflection is not the same as the reality? What do I mean by that? Hang on. Take a look at this. Look at the background here where she is. And look at the background here. And here is like a bag. It's like a... What is this? Maybe it looks like something that's carrying water. But it's also looks like it got jewels and gems on it. So in her reflection, there's something different. Let's see what the book says about that. Number 34. It says Nunde, goddess of truth, Benin. Temple, the griots. Element, water. Nunde, the bold, outspoken wife of Benin Iwa, that the deity. Legba, was feeling neglected by her husband. Even with several wives, his head easily turned. So Nunde lived her truth, took her own lover, and became her own best friend. Let me read that again. Nunde, the bold, outspoken wife of Benin Iwa, Legba, was feeling neglected by her husband. Even with several wives, his head easily turned. So Nunde lived her truth, took her own lover, and became her own best friend. Her guidance is, get real. What is your truth? Truth telling matters. Being able to hear the truth matters just as much. Embodiment. Tell the truth. Each person has their own version. Speak yours. Words have impact. Remember that we all have triggers. Think before you speak and listen with compassion. Be gentle and stay calm in truth-telling conversations. Her declaration is, the truth is my friend. Yes, that put the cap on it. That put the cap on the night. I like it. Let's look at that one more time. One more time. As noonday comes with the truth. And the most important thing always is the truth you tell yourself. Right? The truth you know for yourself, see for yourself. Even if that means sometimes you gotta admit things that you don't want to admit. You gotta be willing to say when you're wrong. You gotta be willing to say when you're jealous. You gotta be willing to say, I could have tried a little bit harder. You gotta be willing to say, I need a break. I need some me time. I know I've been looking out for the kids, the grandma, the kids next door, the people at work, but I need some time with me so I can be my own friend, right? You can't be good in any way to anyone if you're not good to you first. So, just wanted to leave you with that. I love you. I love you. I love you. May the ancestors always guide your path. May your heart stay open. Stay safe. Be in love. And I'll talk to you again soon. Love you guys. Bye.